Welcome back. Pam and I are in the studio now with Nashville Pride President Phil Cobucci to get the scoop on just how large Nashville Pride was this year. So, thanks for being here, Phil, and I know you'd much rather be in the bed. You've got to be tired.
Exhausted.
Congratulations are in order. Yes. It was an amazing weekend.
Thank you. Yes, it was.
Yeah, yes. So how are you doing, by the way?
My neck, my back, I mean, it's everything.
I think we know the rest.
I am exhausted, but you know what? I'm kind of like living on this high.
I was going to say, you got to be living on that sort of rush right now, right? Like, it's so good, but it's over.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, almost. Exactly. But we'll get into that in a minute.
Right.
So, on to folks what they want to know. How many people were here this year, Phil?
35,000 people. That is a 10,000 increase from last year.
Wow.
Obviously, the festival spread over 2 days. It was enormous results. So it was a great weekend.
Go ahead, Pam.
Well, I'm just wondering, is the move from Friday, Saturday to Saturday, Sunday, it seems like it was well received, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was really, we were kind of nervous going into it because we had no idea what we were going to expect or what we were going to see. And so the fact that we had 10,000 plus people show up was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
so we're definitely a 2-day festival now, right? Can we say that? Like, woo.
It's up to the board, but yes, I think
it feels like a 2-day festival is what we're saying.
Festival,
All right, all right. Now, Pam and I both went to the Equality Walk this year, and it felt enormous. Was it bigger than years past, too?
It was,
I mean, I looked back at one point, I think it was at, we've got some pictures there, it was at Union and 2nd, and you couldn't see anything but a sea of people. It was like 4 blocks long.
Yeah, I mean, the line was queued from 2nd and Union and went all the way down Woodland Street Bridge to Nissan Stadium, so it was a pretty incredible result. We had about 5,000 people in attendance for the Equality Walk.
Well, you know what else was nice?
2,000 more than last year.
2,000. That's going to say 2,000 more. I loved how they had the speakers set up along the setup so everybody could hear the speech. I remember that was an issue before, and like we kept going, "Where's the front? We keep hearing Nancy," and then like there were speakers set up so you could hear the speeches.
That was important to us.
The kickoff was great.
Yeah, Nancy Van Rees did a fantastic job.
She did. Yeah, that was awesome. And you know what I always
there's the picture. Not to interrupt you, Pam, but that's the one picture that I remember that I was taking from that intersection, and it was just...
Yeah, you can't see how long it goes. That's 5,000 people strong. You know what I love when you're walking down the streets and you see people, you know, coming out of the hotels, and they're not here for Pride, right? They just happen to be here for Pride. But I felt like everybody was very supportive in their little cheers. And that's
There's a couple of bachelorette parties with their matching T-shirts on, cheering. Did you see them? They were screaming.
Well, they're always up for anything. But I meant families, you know, from who knows where. It's just nice because, you know, that's probably been the case or the climate for a little while, but it hasn't always been that way. That's for sure.
Well, it hasn't always been. We haven't always felt safe to just walk down the street in such a way either. You know, you're right. You're right, exactly. So vendors were aplenty this year too. I know you guys, you had told us that you had sold out of spots, or all the spots were full. How did they feel it went this year? Were they happy with the results?
Vendors, from all that we can tell, were really happy. I can tell you that Nashville Cares broke a record in terms of how many tests they did on site in their entire history. HRC secured more members than they ever have on a Nashville-based level.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, the records keep knocking out of the park, which is really great.
And there's some pictures of the park there now. A couple I got from on the stage, so that was the view on Saturday, and then
such a beautiful day.
It was a beautiful day. I know Cindy stayed out of it. I thought she was going to come ruin us, but she stayed.
God wasn't mad at us this year.
Exactly.
Did
you see the rainbow?
I did not.
There was a rainbow.
I saw the picture. It was literally just in the sky, between two clouds.
Smile above Carroll House, which was pretty powerful.
And speaking of the festival and the entertainment, I know there was a great article in the Nashville Scene. I heard it from others too. Oh, there's the bridge, by the way. That was really cool. That Channel 5 took that photo. I swiped that from our friends and included that. But that the entertainer lineup this year was to quote the Scene, was the best yet, and I felt that way myself. What did you guys think? What was the takeaway?
I mean, the takeaway was great. I mean, it was wonderful to see that there was always a sea of people in front of every performer, and we were introducing new artists to Nashville that have never been in Nashville before.
Yeah.
From Lizzo to Aja. To Conrad, none of them had been in Nashville before, and so they were able to see Nashville for its true experience. It was really powerful.
Well, and some of the acts that maybe we're more familiar with, like LaBouche and ZZ Pittiston, it was nice to have those older groups in there too. I mean, they seemed like they were just having a wonderful time.
Yeah.
There was something for everyone.
Exactly, and that's the point.
And on that note, the drag stage, I noticed this year, it was further away. It had its own little sort of fiefdom over there, if you will. How did that work out?
Out of this world. It was incredible, and it had a continuous presentation.
It did.
The entire time, both Saturday and Sunday.
Well, and you could enjoy that or the main stage. There was no overlap. There was no music. It was nice.
Yeah,
it was very cool.
It was really great.
It was a great location too, though it was kind of tucked away behind the building, but we had some nice shade. So now, I just want to talk a little bit about, because the police were really present, which was a good thing, and they seemed to do very well in the climate that we're in and whatnot. How protesters, police situations, did everything go okay? Was there any incident?
No, there was no incidents. Everything went as smoothly as we would have expected it to. Mayor Megan Barry's office, as well as the Metro PD, were fantastic to work with throughout the entire process. So.
Yeah, because I noticed they were a few just as the Equality March was ending, and that's the only time I ever saw anyone.
Yeah, there were a couple protesters right outside the gate with their little microphones, but that's how it's always been. There's a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, I protest things, and so
Yeah, that's well within their right. It's just interesting that I just was curious if, because of the climate that we're in, if there was any additional threats or anything.
Nothing that we were aware of.
So now Pam and I were talking a little bit earlier. There was a couple of things that we heard, and I know we talked about it too. What was your thought on the line situation?
Well, so we were trying to come up with, you debrief after the events. You talk about all the fun. You share stories.
Ask people what they thought.
And so we're like, what can we say? Is there anything that we would say could be improved on? And just selfishly, I wish it didn't take so long to get a drink. I mean, I waited maybe 30 minutes, and that's it. Who cares? But that's what I would say.
But
it was positioned in a way where you could enjoy the stage while you were waiting, at least. So,
For sure.
Everything is thoughtful.
I will say this, that every year we do take a step back, and we're always looking at how we can improve the festival year over year. We are starting that process at the end of July, just giving our board a couple weeks to just relax and get back into the swing of normal life and catch your breath. And then volunteer again, because the board is an all-volunteer thing.
And we're almost out of time, and I don't want to cut you off, but I wanted to. Did we end in the black? Are we good to go for next year?
We're good to go for next year.
Yay!
That is a feat right of itself, right there. So, thank you, Phil. I'm sorry to rush us out, but we'll be back again soon. And that's all the time we have tonight. Thanks for celebrating Pride Month with us. We'll see you next weekend.